Another reason it's really important to talk with your client beforehand is it creates rapport. And when your client has a good rapport with you, they're going to feel safer and more comfortable opening up. They're going to feel safer and more comfortable in general on the table. Being in a Reiki session can be a very vulnerable experience for people. Like, you're laying prone on a table, likely with your eyes closed. Maybe this is someone you've never met. That can be a very vulnerable experience. So making sure that you take the time to slow down with them and really let them feel safe and comfortable with you, letting them know that the session is their session, they are in charge, and that you are not the one in charge here, that can really help put them at ease and make sure that the session goes more smoothly and that they feel, again, safe and comfortable with you. I let my clients know that that is my number one priority, especially for someone who has never received a Reiki session before. I also, before we get them on the table, I make sure that they know what Reiki is. So make sure that you know how to talk about Reiki. Make sure that you have enough knowledge about Reiki to answer the questions that they might have, and explain to them that Reiki is a hands-on, touch-based healing modality, that there will be physical touch, or there cannot be if they don't want that. It doesn't have to be physical touch if that's not what they would like. And let them know what kinds of physiological experiences they could expect to have. Some people experience Reiki as like a warming sensation. Some people feel like a cooling sensation. Other people will feel like a sense of pressure, even if the hands aren't in that particular area. So letting your client know ahead of time that, hey, this is what you could experience, it really helps them to feel more relaxed and more at ease. And another thing you can let them know is Reiki typically helps people feel very relaxed, that they can expect to feel lighter at the end of a session, and sometimes they might feel ready for a nap after a session. So asking them what they have after your appointment with them can be really helpful too. If they've got a really busy day ahead of them and they've got to like get back to work or get back into their day, then it might be good to offer some kind of like energizing experience at the very end of the session so that they're not leaving ready for a nap. But that is another great question you can ask your client is, what kind of day do you have after this? What's coming up for you after today? And that can let you know too if it's a good idea to get really deep into the heavy stuff, or just keep it lighter for that day. If they've got a busy day and they've got like something challenging after the session, it's usually better to keep things a little more on the lighter side instead of getting really deep into stuff. So making sure that you understand what your client has coming up can ensure even more success to your session. I also recommend another thing that can help you have a successful session is keeping drinks and snacks on hand for both yourself and your client. Sometimes after a session, a client can feel a little shaky or a little like out of body, and it takes them a while to come back in and ground. I always make sure to ground my clients at the end of the session, but sometimes they need a little extra help, and just having something to eat can be a grounding experience that gets them back in their body and back in the present moment. So taking a little extra time at the end can be really, really helpful to make sure that your client feels good after the session, not just before they leave, but for the rest of their day as well. These things can help ensure that you and your client both feel good about the session and what took place, and I highly recommend following these practices. If you are the kind of practitioner who doesn't want to sit down and like have that verbal communication with your client, not everybody does, that is totally fine. I would just make sure that they feel safe and comfortable. Find a way that you know they feel safe and comfortable, and give them a chance to ask any questions that they might have beforehand. And this is something that I have done since day one. It's been very helpful for me. And as always, I encourage you guys to do what works for you. So thank you so much. In the next video, I'm going to take you through a mini session that I am doing with my friend Laura. She's one of my Reiki students and she's a wonderful person. And I'm really excited for you guys to get to meet her and see how our session together goes. But as always, reach out to me if you have any questions. Thanks, guys. Enjoy this week's lesson.